welcome back to the Old Colony Cast, a podcast about all things Plymouth and surrounding area. I almost said the Bar Talk podcast. I forgot what I was doing here. I'm your host, Andy. Sadly, we are one host short today. Hanna has some personal family things that she's taking care of. So just to keep episodes coming out, I have gotten with our holly jolly producer, Fish, and researched a collaborative episode.
Yeah. Can I get promoted to other host?
No, don't be.
Fair.
Don't be ridiculous. You almost made me swear. other host. Psh, whatever.
That's what happens when Hannah's not here to be the adult in the room.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. All right. So we didn't figure out who wants to go first.
Oh, rock, paper, scissors?
Oh, yeah. That's great radio. Wait, is it rock, paper, scissors or rock, paper, scissors, shoot?
Shoe?
Like boom, 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 boom?
Like on three or...
Is it 1, 2, 3, go or 1, 2, 3?
1, 2, 3, go.
Okay.
All right, ready?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Wait, does that mean I'm going first? Or
Yes.
does that mean you're going first?
It means you get to pick.
Okay. I think I'm going to...
For the listeners, I threw paper. Andy
I
threw
threw scissors. Yes.
Andy won. It's important that these things get explained for,
amazing radio.
Well, it was that or they never know what happened.
Yeah.
And I actually threw a real rock, paper, scissors, so I didn't
you did.
I didn't fail miserably.
You didn't make up any weird hand gestures. So it makes sense that I go first because I kind of pitched this idea.
Yes, this is all your fault.
Because I stumbled across a legend, I guess is the right word.
Urban legend.
Urban legend, yes.
Yeah.
Urban legend's perfect. And I'm like, oh, that's such a good story, but it's definitely not a whole episode.
Yeah.
So we're going to jump in our way back machine and go back to the days of yore where there was a Boston Garden prior to the new one's called Boston Garden.
It's the Garden now, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
this is
Bank
like
North,
the
PD Bank
Boston
North Garden. It's
Yeah.
the Garden.
This is the Garden.
Yeah.
So it was built in the late 20s, so 1928 it was built. Mm-hmm. And, it had a lot more than sports. And it frequently had a circus. And the initial thing that I saw said that during one of the circuses that 11 monkeys escaped. However, in an article I read from one of the journalists, he had checked with Barnum and Bailey, and they said that never happened. He then followed up with a production of The Wizard of Oz that actually had monkeys as flying monkeys.
Oh, that's excessive.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose if you're doing the Garden, you kind of sell out.
Right.
Yeah.
They also were not missing monkeys.
So my question is, who's lying then?
Well, there was also...
Okay.
Frank Buck's Bring 'Em Back Alive animal show. And this was, I saw 1936 and 1937 bantered around. This had monkeys. Had monkeys escape.
Right.
Although allegedly, the monkeys were recaptured. So, were there 9 loose monkeys in Boston Garden? That's where our urban legend starts.
Go on.
So when it really starts to get interesting, and this is the thing that I find interesting, is that I suppose people might have reported, like, no one would jump to monkey. I suppose that's interesting. Like, I could see someone reporting, like, it being haunted or raccoons or rats
like, hey, I saw something, crawling around. It's like,
there's raccoons in here.
Yeah, and it's like, it's the Garden. Yeah. It's, you show up in the 1970s. It's like, of course they're like, wow, that rat is huge.
Right. So in 1998 was when the Garden was being demolished, and workers found in the roof structure. So one said that it was between almost like a roof and like a subroof kind of thing.
Sure. I don't know how state.
I know. Another said it was between a ceiling panel and a steel truss.
Okay, I could I figure there would be a difference between a ceiling and a roof.
Yeah, there's only for there's space in there.
Wiring, insulation, crawl spaces,
monkey homes.
So like,
yeah, the usual.
Obviously.
So above center court, they found a mummified monkey corpse. And so as the story goes, the workers were kind of keeping it on as a mascot. And they had like kind of like these bags that they would lower down
of course they did,
to like put tools in or like supplies, and then they'd pull the bags up using a crane or whatever. Sometimes when they would send it down, they'd put the monkey in it to surprise people. And the whole thing was they were trying to keep it from the powers that be. And the demolition company initially said that never happened. Later on, changed their story to, we were never informed of anything like that happening. So they would keep it around the site kind of as a thing. And this is kind of like where the story kind of gets a little foggy, because some say that they kept it around as a mascot and good luck. Others said they thought it was cursed and was causing worksite injuries.
Honestly, I could see both. I was going to say I could see both being true.
Yes.
That is a lie. I cannot see it's cursed being true.
I could see them,
several. I could see a big enough site where you get a lot of arguments that the boss can never hear about people arguing about the desiccated monkey corpse.
Yep.
Because I'm assuming when you say mummified, you mean like dried out mummified, not like wrapped in, like not like It wasn't like
naturally mummified,
wrapped in bandages and in a little sarcophagus above center court, because that would be amazing. But I feel like that's,
and even some reports say that as the weather warmed up, it began to smell.
Yeah, because it's a dead monkey.
Yeah. But you'd think it was like really that desiccated. It would just
I mean,
all the smelly. I don't really know much about mummifying monkeys, so I'm going to be honest with you.
I am going to assume that it might be dried out, but if it starts warming up, it's still organic.
Yeah.
And a lot of human mummies, especially ones that are out of like Central and South America, were usually kept up on mountain tops because it was cold and dry.
Sure.
As soon as things start warming up, yeah,
and who knows what they were exposing it to, handling it and whatnot.
Oh yeah, it's probably got cooties.
Yeah. So it was pretty much just written off as a rumor in general, until photos started to show up of locals with a mummified or a desiccated monkey. Desiccate is really the best word.
Yeah.
And so that it was even rumored to be taken home by one of the workers and kept permanently, even as much as he was taking it to other job sites, where there continued to be, I hate to say monkey-related accidents, but accidents that people would attribute
would
to
you
the
say
monkey.
Some monkey business?
There was some monkey business.
There was some monkey business involved?
Very nice joke.
I'm here for you, buddy.
So there were some things, and so it was thought to be cursed. And then I found a really interesting article about some guy trying to put the rumor to bed. And he got in contact with a Richard Bagan Sr., and he told this reporter, whose name I did not write down, I apologize to whomever this reporter was, that his brother took it. His brother, Joe? His brother, John. I have it here. Yeah, John. So he was trying to contact this guy with no luck, and then finally got a message saying, meet me at the... Did I put it... to meet him, I want to say was at the Knights of Columbus in Weymouth. I think it was the Knights of Columbus. No, it might have been the VFW. I apologize.
Sons of Italy?
No, I think it was the VFW.
Okay.
In Weymouth at a certain time. And so this reporter showed up, and this guy, John, who was now like the president was the guy who took the monkey, showed him a bunch of photos of him with the monkey throughout different times. And so John's on record as saying, everyone says it didn't exist, but me and a few other guys found it. My coworker, Roger Beale, screamed, "Come here." Then Eddie Sullivan and I came over, and there it was. The location that all these gentlemen gave were the same, that it was in kind of this weird empty space in the ceiling at center court. And they say, we were working on the roof of the garden, pulling up boards. There was like a second roof above the roof. The monkey was basically right above center court. We started dropping the trestle, and we kept the monkey in the beam so nobody could find him because we didn't want to take him off the job. We figured that would be bad luck. So once he started to kind of take away from him, he was taking him to other job sites. That was true. And then he was finding that there were, it's not uncommon for there to be job site injuries in construction, which I find weird that you equate that to something else. Well,
that's because there's something else to blame besides yourself.
Right. So let's see. A worker got his thumb crushed by a crane cable. He had broken his finger using a jackhammer. That same night, it was a long shift, and he had a sore shoulder, and he thought that was weird. And so he took the monkey home and put it into just like a cardboard box. When he went to bring it out to show this reporter, he says that it looks like some sort of, he said animal, I'm assuming mice. And that all that really was left was this mummified monkey head.
Okay.
That's mostly skull.
Yeah.
Wait. No, I'm sorry. That's when he went to bring it to the Opie and Anthony show, was when he discovered that. They wanted people to bring in the weirdest things that they had, and he was trying to bring it in, and the traffic was so bad that he missed his shot, which he equated to the monkey curse.
Obviously.
So, long story short, is he had the monkey head. The interesting thing about it was that so some monkeys can live as long as 60 years, and which would kind of put it in the right time frame as escaping in the 30s. But the reporter said that it didn't look old enough to be from the 30s, like an old desiccated monkey.
Yeah. So it does the question become, how long was there a monkey living? Because
yes, and where did the monkey come from? Because even the ones that escaped were said that they got them all back.
You would say that, wouldn't you?
I mean, I suppose if I was the monkey guy in charge, but in the same aspect, it would be my monkey, and I wouldn't want to leave my monkey just randomly roaming.
It's something you would say they were all back, and then you would just end up getting season tickets to the Celtics, sitting in the very top, going with like peanuts and bananas above your head, hoping for the flipping best.
Well, I mean, that's the other thing, is there is more than ample food supply in that place for an animal to continue to live.
Yeah.
So he is now currently, as of the article, was debating whether he should give it a proper burial. A official monkey proper burial.
Yeah, is the monk? Does anyone know the monkey's religion? Like, is the monkey Catholic?
I don't know. It's hard to get. I don't have Speak with Dead prepared for this podcast. And anyone who laughed at that, thank you for being a D&D nerd. So that was his one option. His other option, or the other thing he was contemplating, was selling it. Specifically wanting to sell it back to the TD Bank.
Yeah, I think it's owned by the Bruins.
Yeah. So,
like Jeremy Jacobs owns the...
Is he somehow...
I think the Bruins own the...
So, yeah, I wanted to kind of sell it back to them as like a keepsake.
Which, I'll be honest, if I
ran that,
oh my God,
I would definitely buy that. I'd probably buy it now. Depending on what he was looking
how
for.
much is he looking? Yeah.
Yeah, so John, if you're listening, feel free to email us, and we'll consider your monkey offer.
Yeah, we are willing to purchase the mummified monkey head.
Oh my god, that'd be awesome.
It would be the weirdest thing to bankrupt the company on.
I don't feel like he's getting a lot of offers.
That's the whole thing. We can't be the only ones.
Well, again, I don't think he's like made it
Like,
it's
not like on eBay.
Yeah. And because then it becomes like a matter of precedence of like.
Yeah, I don't think you can sell mummified remains on eBay anyway.
No, you can sell oddity type stuff on eBay.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can sell like wet specimens, and you wouldn't be able to sell like human mummified.
Yeah, this is definitely not a human.
But then the question would be, what kind of monkey was it? That could be an issue. Because like if it's endangered or something like that. So
there's a lot involved with us purchasing the monkey, and we will have to figure out what steps we have to take, but we will not figure out those steps until we have to make an offer, okay?
Or we're sitting around with nothing to do.
I feel like that is the same thing on our page.
Yeah. That's the urban legend of the Boston Garden monkey.
Okay. So it's my turn then.
It is your turn. I am passing. I'm reaching across the table and handing Fish a torch.
Yeah, please.
Turn.
Yeah, and I've put out the torch because we do have a smoke alarm in the building, and
no, that's the motion sensor.
Oh, never mind. We're fine. Lit the torch again. All right. So, Andy just messaged me with find a Boston urban legend, and for some reason, everything I found was ghost related.
Okay.
And I didn't want to do ghosts.
Okay.
So I remembered we were driving up to an event in Cambridge, and as we were driving, we saw a statue.
Yeah, we did.
We saw a very odd choice for statues in Boston.
Oh, wait. Can I remember who it was?
I don't know. Can you?
Was it an explorer?
It was.
Was it Leif Erikson?
It was.
Wow, that's good.
So we were driving up, and we saw a statue of Leif Erikson,
in Cambridge.
Viking explorer in Cambridge. So I decided to...
The full story is we were quasi-lost and kept driving past it.
Yeah, no, we saw the statue about 3 times in succession. So I decided to figure out, why is there a statue of Leif Erikson in Boston?
Ooh, cool.
Because...
I remember we were discussing it that day, being like, this will be interesting.
Yes, I hope it is, because I wrote like a page and a half on it.
And go.
Okay. So the statue of Leif Erikson was erected in 1887. It is the first statue of Leif Erikson in the New World.
There's more than one?
Yes.
Okay.
And also, it's weird that the first statue of him was nowhere he was.
Also true.
So it was sculpted by a woman named Anne Whitney.
Okay.
Who, once I started looking into her, realized that she is going to end up needing an episode of her own. Okay. So she's been added to the list.
Nice.
And it was commissioned by an Eben Norton Horsford, who was...
Eben Norton
Horsford.
That is a Norse name.
This is a 19th century Norseman's name, if you've ever heard one.
Yes.
He was a chemist.
Okay.
Who worked at Harvard.
Which would make sense why it's in Cambridge.
Yes. He is also the man responsible for reformulating baking powder.
From its original recipe?
Yeah, baking powder used to be baking soda and cream of tartar.
Okay.
And now it is baking soda and a longer chemical term. It makes it more stable and just works better.
I feel like I heard this somewhere. Yeah. Okay, all right.
And he and his partner started the Rumford Baking Powder Company.
All right.
Which still exists. Rumford Baking Powder still exists.
That's the red can.
Yeah, it's the red can. It's still on the shelf.
Yeah.
It's still on the shelves.
I'm familiar with it.
I
think I have some at home.
Yeah. He made a lot of money on it and decided to do what all rich old white guys do. Get a little weird.
Okay.
So he became convinced that the Norse, the Vikings, had discovered and colonized North America.
Okay.
What
was his rationale? Is this like a Dighton Rock thing?
A little bit, but also... so the Icelandic people have two sagas, the big Norse epic poems called the Vinland sagas.
Okay.
It's the story of Eric the Red and then his son Leif Erikson.
Yep.
And it tells the story of them sailing west from Iceland and basically finding Greenland, which they totally did, and then exploring west of there and setting up and fighting what they called Skraelings, which we now know are Native Americans.
All right.
And he decided that having read those and having no actual, evidence or archaeology or ruins, are literally just because he decided that a lot of the places in the Vinland Saga sounded kind of like Boston. So he was like reading through and like identifying places on the Charles River that were like totally listed in the sagas, and I'm making hand motions because audio.
Okay, so basically, based off of this text,
he was basically reading those and then plugging it into Boston and giving like actual native place names and giving them like fake Norse etymologies and all that fun stuff. He thought it was a place called Norumbega, which is a fictional Norse kingdom that showed up on maps around the 15th, 16th century. Okay. Was never real. Was never a real place. Just map makers added it and pretended it was a real thing for a hot minute.
All right.
Kind of as a...
like Finland?
Yes, but only like a copyright thing. Like you would put this fake place on your map, and then if anyone else added it, they were ripping you off. So it was kind of like that.
There's like a map maker that made like a mountain shaped like an elephant or something like that.
Yeah, you had like the Atlas Mountains were shaped like an elephant, or there was like a fake islands in the Pacific that no one. Yep. If you hadn't been there, you wouldn't know. But he thought it was Vinland, which was the name of the Icelandic colony in North America. Okay. And this was all in the late 1880s. Yep. Which means that he was, I'm going to say, kind of right. Yeah. In that there was an Icelandic colony in North America called Vinland. Yeah. It was not Boston.
It was in Nova Scotia?
It was at the very northernmost tip of Newfoundland.
Newfoundland, okay.
It is settled in roughly the year 1000. Yeah. And it is currently called Lansomedo because it is French. Yeah. And that was, but he, got heavy into it. He built like a fake Viking tower on his house in his property because he wanted to, because he called it Norumbega Tower, and he just built it because rich white guy.
I mean, come on.
Oh, no, who among us?
I get that.
I'm not saying I wouldn't build a giant stone tower on my property if I had property and money for a giant stone tower.
I'm a day away from having $944 million, so, I mean...
Okay, so we will discuss your castle.
Yeah.
And I would
it probably wouldn't be Norse.
No, because it would be very weird for... I don't know what an Irish castle would look like.
I don't know.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't have a segue from Irish castle. It is, however, important to realize that there is no evidence that the Vikings, we don't know how far south they got from the tip of Newfoundland. And there's some argument they made it down the St. Lawrence River, but there is nothing saying they made it to anywhere in New England,
especially if they had any kind of establishment, even if they got
or
here
even
a settlement
explored there.
Yeah,
there's nothing saying they made it that far.
Okay,
didn't stop him. And he also basically the whole reason this kicked around is because this is a time where Boston was dealing with a lot of immigration. Okay, and so Boston at the time was a very Northern European, British, Protestant city. Yeah. And all the immigrants, everyone coming in was Irish and Italian. All right. Two groups who are very Catholic. All right. So also known as the wrong kind of Christian for these people. Right. Very much the wrong kind of Christian, which they did not like. So they had people like Horsford and Henry Wordsworth Longfellow, the Inebri-art Apollo Revere guy.
Yeah. That wasn't a blank look. I knew.
I'm sorry. I was okay.
There's a minor second where I'm like, okay.
I know that. Yeah, that name.
Yeah.
They had a vested interest in a Columbus discoverer of America.
Oh, because
They didn't want it to be a Catholic Italian guy. They wanted to be found by Northern Europeans.
Oh. So this is like
It's always
marketing.
It's a little bit. It's that
Yeah.
kind of thing where, like, he tried to get the city to put the statue pay for it, putting the statue up. They said no, because no.
Yeah.
So then he just paid for it himself. And the reason I said this is the not the only statue is that there is a copy of it in Wisconsin.
Why Wisconsin?
Also very Nordic.
Oh, just like
It's a bunch of
okay.
Yeah, it's got a
Like
lot of
Boston,
Scandinavian
like
inhabitants.
Boston's Irish.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also Wisconsin has a lot of cultural and like connections to Massachusetts.
Okay, so they
Like,
they weren't trying to say that like the Norse lived in Wisconsin and Boston.
Oh yeah, they did.
Oh, okay.
Buddy.
All right.
Buddy, there's everywhere that Scandinavians live, they think the Vikings found it.
Okay.
Like the Kensington Runestone is a whole thing where someone basically a Norwegian farmer carved a fake runestone, buried it on his farm in Minnesota,
Yeah.
and then discovered it, air quotes, and that became a whole thing because it's invested.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, that was my half. I just found it very.
Did you write down where it's located in case anyone wanted to?
The one in Wisconsin?
No. The one like I know it's in Cambridge.
It is on the Commonwealth Ave Mall in Cambridge.
Okay.
It's basically
That's
it's
like
what it's called. It's what
yeah,
that.
that's like a park type mall.
Yeah,
Not a,
it's not a shopping mall. It is a.
There's no Claire's there to get your ear pierced.
As far as I know, I haven't checked.
Yeah. I didn't see one. I drove by 3 times.
I wasn't looking. I wasn't looking for an ear piercing. I was looking for a left turn that I couldn't find. So yeah, and also I found out that there is apparently we have an official Leif Erikson Day.
Is it April 17th?
No,
I just figured I'd take a guess.
you took a guess.
I had a 1 in 365 shot of being
You
right.
did. It's October 9th.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay. I actually no. The worst
Is it
thing
his
is
birthday or
no. It's like celebrating the day that he was supposed to of.
landed or
Kind of. Alrighty. It is supposed to be the day he set foot on North America.
is there a Leif Erikson rock?
If there is, it is equally.
Because I'm finding we love rocks in Massachusetts.
We do.
We super love rocks.
But that's the whole thing. Like, I don't know when it would. Like, I don't know where they thought he.
would have disembarked from his boat.
Yeah, it's like. And besides, it'd be in Newfoundland.
Fair. Unless we moved it.
I mean, we could. Do we have 30 or 40 yoke of oxen?
I mean, not in the office.
They wouldn't fit. Look, when you have the castle, we'll get the oxen,
All
and
right,
then we'll
all
steal a rock from Newfoundland and drag it down and make it Leif Erikson Rock.
All right. Sounds good.
It sounds like a plan.
I'm in. We'll put it
Okay.
in Cambridge.
God, this is what happens when Hannah's not here to record.
I'll just text her on Wednesday being like, hey, so how do you feel about Newfoundland? Road trip.
Okay, so I guess this is the part where we stop talking.
Sure.
And thanks for checking out the show today, listeners. If you enjoyed the content today, you can go over to patreon.com/Inebri-art to support the show. You can join over there for just a few dollars a month and help us provide this fun content that you just checked out. You can also email us at Inebri-art.com with your questions, complaints, and concerns, or you can find us on all social medias at Inebri-art or at Inebri-art6 on Instagram. And also don't forget to check out our other shows, Bar Talk Podcast, Old Colony Cast, Inebri-art, and all the other shows on the Inebri-art Network, which you can find at Inebri-art.com. So thanks again for listening.